Welcome to the Mystic Access Podcast, where the magic is in learning.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this extra episode of the Mystic Access Podcast. The date is April 28th, 2020. She's Kim.
He's Chris.
And we have something special for you to listen to today.
A little different.
It's majorly different.
And it was majorly fun to do.
And we were invited to the Accessibility Moving Forward podcast with Randy Rusnick and Bill Tillery. And we just had a blast talking to them. And with their permission, we are going to play the entire podcast. And it's about an hour in duration. We hope you enjoy it.
They have the same kind of warped sense of humor and sarcasm that we do, so it was particularly fun to hang out with them. But they're also very serious about their tech. We had so much fun sharing and being a part of the podcast, and we definitely recommend you check out other episodes of Accessibility Moving Forward. It's a great podcast. They offer a lot of informative info, and they have a heck of a lot of fun. So we hope you enjoy this very humorous addition to our podcast feed.
And speaking of their podcast, there might be something coming up in a future episode of our podcast that was a direct result of one of the episodes of the Accessibility Moving Forward podcast, and that's about all we're going to say.
Chris got in trouble. That's all I'll add.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
So, Randy, what are you doing?
Oh, I'm coming out of my blind shell.
So you came out of your shell just to contact me?
Well, yeah, kind of, but we gotta start going to our meeting. You know which meeting we're gonna do.
Oh, that's right. We do have a
Yeah, we
meeting.
gotta go to the castle.
The castle.
Remember?
We have to
You know,
go all the way
one of the
across the pond.
drawbridge and the moat and
All
the
the way over there to
gravel.
Way
Yeah.
over there?
in that world of mysticism.
Yeah, okay, well.
All right, let's go.
Let's go then.
Boy, it's kind of a long walk, isn't it?
Yeah, a little foggy.
In this
too.
virtual world, yeah, foggy, kind of creepy sounding. Yeah. Did you hear that?
No, what? What was it?
There's that laugh. It sounds like a familiar laugh. There it goes again.
Yeah, I did hear that. Gee,
Yeah.
That's almost familiar, though.
Yeah, it is. Sounds like a familiar laugh.
Yeah.
Oh, look out, Bill.
What?
Something's in your way.
Oh.
There's the drawbridge.
Oh, is it down?
Yeah.
I have no desire to swim in their moat, okay?
No, and we're supposed to gain admittance, and that's crazy. Look at that door. It just came into virtual reality. How do they do that? They must be a couple of smart
Would you say
something.
they're magical or something?
I would say that.
I guess we could call them creatures.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know.
Well,
maybe
try
we
the
should
door.
meet them. Okay,
Try the door.
Ready? Let's
Yeah.
knock together. How about
Okay.
that? Ready to go?
All right. Yeah.
Hey, I hear a creaking sound.
I do too.
What's happening?
I think we're being let in.
Oh, I just hope we can be let out.
Welcome to the Mystic Access Magic Castle.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Chris and Kim and Chris, thank you guys for letting me in and letting Bill into your castle.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it was really tough to get across the drawbridge, but but we finally did it.
Well, we
We've
do that
got
on
those
purpose.
mean alligators.
We do, and a couple trolls. You know, it takes a little bit of engineering, but it works.
One just bit off one of my Well, appendages.
Oh, dear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, well,
that's a
you didn't
painful way
need-
to start the week.
Yeah.
You didn't need that ear anyway.
Well, welcome to Accessibility Moving Forward, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce Kim Loftus and Chris Gerbowski. And boy, these guys, especially Chris, I want to tell you, he's responsible for cleaning my floors.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he's not my butler, but he was very helpful in producing a wonderful podcast that I happened to catch, and it was about the Roomba model that you had.
Yeah, and I
So-
still actually have that Roomba.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have that Roomba, and I've moved on. I've got a shark as well, so I've got
He has
one
a couple
upstairs
sharks.
and one downstairs.
Yeah, that's the one that bit me, I think.
Yep.
Which do you like better,
Yeah,
Chris?
yeah.
The Roomba or the shark? I'm interested.
It really depends on what you want. Like, for example, I really, really like the Shark's interaction with the virtual assistants. It tells you a little bit more. Like, it'll tell you the battery level. It'll actually tell you the error, if it has an error. You have to ask it, of course. Where the Roomba doesn't really tell you the error. At least last time I tried, it was like, oh, well, go find the thing and look in the app. Well, I don't want to look in the app.
Sure.
I asked my assistant. So realistically, it just depends on what you want to do. For me, at least, the Shark seemed to clean a little bit better for me. And I'm not exactly sure why, because the Roomba that I got wasn't exactly the cheapest one out there.
Right.
See, that was my next question because I have laminate and tile floors, and I was just wondering which would clean better if I invested money in something like that.
Are they about the same price, or is the Shark a little less?
The Shark was a heck of a lot less.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
what I've seen it a lot less. Yeah.
I have laminate floors in my kitchen, and Chris talked me into getting one of these sharks, and it does a great job in the kitchen. I don't have any tile, but I've got laminate in the kitchen and in the bathroom.
I have
It does a
laminate
great
Galley
too,
job
style
on that.
kitchen, so yeah. I have
Yeah.
a galley style kitchen, so it's tile, and then the rest of the house is laminate, of course, except for the bathrooms, which are tile.
Well, this discussion is going very well. Let's all talk about how to clean your home.
Listen, you started this with the whole Roomba thing, Mr. Rusnick.
Yes, I guess I did.
Yes, you
didn't I?
did.
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not sorry because I'm just.
That's a matter of opinion there.
If I can talk about shoving stuff up your nose like the Navage, I can certainly talk
With a
about
rubber
cleaning
hose.
rugs.
Yeah, sure, why not?
My job is doing a lot of tech stuff at work, and one of my jobs is to talk to staff members about how tech works in what's called the tech and me world at my work. And what our job is to find accessible devices. This sounds like a familiar thing, doesn't it, Bill?
Right?
Hasn't it? For years and years even.
Yeah, that have to do with putting tech into people's hands, and one of them are phones. What I do is talk to people about their needs, and unfortunately right now most of us are not working due to things that are going on in our lives. But when I do work, I encourage people to get devices which normally they wouldn't think of getting, because let's face it, sometimes cell devices are just not working for people and they don't fit their needs. One of the clients that I was working with about a month ago actually was telling me that she can't use a phone because, to put it her way, I'm 60 years old and I can't learn. How old are you, young man? Well, I reached 60 a long time ago. Let's put it that way. One of the things that I showed her was the blind shell phone. She got so excited about it, she wanted it right away, and right now we're trying to get a waiver for her. And one of my jobs is to try to figure out waivers for people that are over the age of 50 and how to work with management in that area. And one of my partners is just very good at writing up everything. And my job is to convince people that their lives are more useful and more accessible when they have a device that they can work with. So one of the things that I commend both of these guys for is their wonderful tutorial on the blind shell phone. My God, they've got at least 3 hours of content.
Try 6.
6
I
hours.
was
Oh,
thinking
really?
6, I heard this morning.
Okay, 6 hours. Okay, 6. I must have listened at double speed because I really enjoyed the tutorial, and that's one of the things that prompted me to get a hold of these guys. They go out of their way to provide just great content, not only in phones but with other devices. And programs and hours that they provide for everybody. And I have to admit that when I started tweeting with Chris about getting a phone, we had no idea how this was going to work out because he didn't know at the time that I was providing service for one of the Tech and Me programs, which happened to be one of the members of my household. And so when we started tweeting back and forth, we were talking about SIM cards, we were talking about adapters and where this device was going to be sent to, and it turned out to be kind of convoluted, but we worked it out just fine with Twitter and emails. That's how Chris and I started the idea. Let's get him on the podcast and Kim to talk about the tutorial and the blind shell phone and get into some other things with their company. So, Chris, what inspired you to start messing around with the blind shell phone?
Well, we like the idea that the blind shell phone is a phone for everybody, that everybody can use it. And one of the things, quite frankly, that I can't stand about Android and or iOS is when I'm calling into an automated...
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh,
and you're like, press 1 for this,
Yes.
press 2 for that, which is okay, I suppose, until you start, well, what's your account number? My account number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Nope, sorry, we didn't get it all. Try again. And then you're just frustrated and slamming your phone down and breaking your perfectly accessible iPhone because you're not fast enough to type in that information. And to me, that is a huge deal that, you know, makes me interested in something like a blind shell. And I remember the days of having a phone where you can actually do that kind of stuff.
Yep.
And then we all moved into iOS, and I'm not knocking iOS or Android. Both of them are very accessible. They, you know, the apps that you want are there. But when it's something as simple as making a phone call, you want to be able to make a phone call and you want to do it successfully.
That's what I found as well. Now, my first introduction to the blind shell phone was I was perusing the YouTube channels, and I came across Blind Life, which both of you guys know, and I contacted the individual there. So we started just, passing little messages back and forth, and he was gracious enough to send me a demo model, and the demo model came from Europe. The only problem with that is you could not make calls with it. But I got familiar with the device long enough to know that I was certain that the call feature was going to be great. Mm-hmm. When I ordered my first phone, well, it wasn't mine, but it was work-related, I liked it so much, I took it and learned everything that I could about it and started showing it to clients, and they just really jammed on it. All the clients that I have dealt with just loved the phone. And, as I said, when I started looking around to purchase one for a member of the household, I thought, man, these guys, as I stated to Chris, are going to get the business because of their work that they did with the tutorial. And what a great thing. And he provides the tutorial. Well, tell him, Chris, you provide the tutorial for everybody that wishes to have it.
Yep. Everybody that wants it can go to our website and download it. Mm-hmm. If you purchase the phone from us directly, we do include the tutorial itself on an SD card. So if you don't want to download the tutorial, you can take the SD card, put it in your Victor Stream, your Trek, anything that reads DAISY, and there you go. So you can learn how to use your blind shell in an easier to use way.
Now, does that come with every purchase of the phone?
From us, yes.
Oh, now I learned something new. Oh.
Yes. All of our hardware, because we do sell other little pieces of hardware as well. And one of our claims to fame is that, anything that we provide hardware-wise, there is an audio tutorial that comes with it.
How do you guys work it together when you decide that you're going to create a tutorial? Bill and I, when we do our casts, we discuss it first and decide how we're going to do an opening or whatever, and then you start recording together. How do you guys record it? What sort of app do you use? And do you just confer through the net, through Zoom, or how do you guys do it? Just curious.
We live on FaceTime a lot.
Oh, okay.
For any work environment, we live on FaceTime a lot. So my screen time reports every week are insanity. But We generally will outline something first. I tend to be the major outline writer around here, so we'll sit down and we'll talk about it for a couple hours and be like, okay, what do we need to do first, second, third? Because the order of things, I feel, is important. And you don't want to start somebody at a level where it's too advanced for them. You want to really start at very, very basics, getting them started. Well, what is this thing? Why do I care? And then orientation, turning it on for the first time. I mean, learning to use it, and then working your way through the various aspects of the device to more advanced concepts. So we'll start with an outline. When we're ready to record it, like for something like this that we did together, we met through Zoom because we have lots of Zoom meeting rooms that we hang out in, and we set up a meeting and we got together and we recorded the portions that we both recorded together and mixed in our phones. And then once the recording was done for each section, I generally edited this as we went along, so that made it a little bit easier in terms of making sure things were as they needed to be. And then after that, Chris did the daisy for everything. So
Now, I'm assuming you both edit it then, right? Edit your files?
Well, in the case of this one, I think I did the editing for both our files.
Yes.
And generally speaking, one of us will take the edit for a particular tutorial. So it just depends on what's going on. Sometimes we'll both jump in and do edits if it needs to work that way. So this was a pretty intensive project because it is so long. So I think I did do most of the edit on this particular one. And then we would bounce back and forth into meetings and make things better and come back and polish things up and, just get things the way they needed to be. So it's definitely a team effort. Anything that we put together is absolutely a team effort.
Oh, yeah, and it shows, too.
Thank you.
So, Chris, I'm assuming that you use something like maybe a desktop device to put your DAISY files together?
Yeah, we actually use Dolphin Publisher.
Oh, you do? Okay.
Software product, yep.
Yep, I've never used that myself. Everything that I use to create DAISY files is old hardware, but it works.
Yeah, well, the thing is, you still have to listen to it. So you have to listen to, if it's a 6-hour tutorial, it probably takes 12 to DAISY, just because you have to start and stop and play. And that's not even the editing portion. The editing could take quadruple that.
3 times or 4 times as long. Absolutely.
Kim, what do you use for a sound editor?
Gold Wave.
Okay.
I'm a Gold Wave gal.
You're a Gold Wave gal, huh? I was told one time when I started getting into all of this stuff, maybe 12, 13 years ago, you should, this makes me laugh, you should only use one sound editor. And I went, come on now, that's not.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Do that.
Yeah.
I think that's super limiting.
Oh, yeah.
So I use Gold Wave and Studio Recorder and Audacity and anything I can get my hands on. And that's how we cobble up our casts. I had a student one time that I was working with. For those of you who don't know me, I'm well, I can't talk, but I'm a sound editor. And I also teach tech. So I had a client one time say, could you show me how to do some editing skills and work with programs to help me with editing, and can I learn it in half an hour?
Oh,
No.
yeah, no.
Absolutely not.
You may learn to open the file in half an hour.
Yeah, that might be about it.
Now, Bill is just starting to learn how to edit stuff, and that helps me a lot because I don't have to do it all myself, because it really takes days to edit a good cast.
To get it, to get it right, it does. Yeah.
It is the most time-consuming part of the entire process,
And I used Gold Wave a while in the past, but I gave it up for Lent. Actually, I gave it up because I was doing other things. But I want to step away just a minute from all of this, because I want to offer serious compliments to both Kim and Chris for your website, mysticaccess.com. I've been on there several times, but I went through it again this morning, and I really do like the welcoming page that you guys have up with first of all, the warm welcome, and then the encouragement that you provide, as well as the instruction and the challenge for people to take advantage of what's available. I just think it's a tremendous website.
Thank you so much. That was a big baby to put together.
I have no doubt that it was, but you did a tremendous job with it, and I think anybody who visits there is going to be really satisfied with what they find when they visit.
Yeah, just don't look at it wrong.
Yeah, don't look at it wrong on the back end. It would fall apart. But
sure.
Yeah, I think the thing about that is, and what really we try to stress to people is we're consumers of the technology as well. We
Sure.
use it every day,
sure.
and we're not going to offer y'all something that we don't use or don't like. If we don't like it, we're going to tell you we don't like it. We're going to
Absolutely.
tell you why we don't like it.
Sure.
And I think that's maybe one of the things that has resonated with a lot of people is that we're not a big corporation who is putting out the tech, but who perhaps doesn't use the tech on a regular basis. We use it, and we try to be really honest. I mean, we cast a lot like you guys do. We're very down to earth. There's no pretension to us. What you see is what you get, and we just try to be very warm and very sincere with people, and let people know that okay, this is how something works, and if we feel that a little tough love is necessary with our audience, we don't mind providing that either, just to say, look, stand up, advocate for yourself.
Absolutely.
Learn to use the tech,
Yes.
learn to use the technology, because you are going to feel better, you're going to gain confidence, and other people are going to realize that you are competent to live your life and do what you got to do out there.
Sure,
So
absolutely.
it's a big, big deal.
Yes.
Yeah, and I've heard you say that quite a few times, and you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. You just have to stand up for yourself, because I can't, I can't do it. It's too much. And I've had experience with hand holding a lot of people, and finally I just said, no, I can't do this. You're going to have to stand up for yourself and really put the effort into it and work.
I had a gentleman comment to me one time, argue with me over the phone that I was sighted. It was hilarious. I was sitting there going,
But you sound,
come on now.
You sound like it, Kim.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
That's the problem, Kim. You sound that way.
So don't fool us.
You need to be like the rest of us. You need to stumble and fumble and bumble and say, gee, I don't know.
And we're not trying to cast aspersions, but let's face it.
Oh,
out
no.
there is some,
No.
Well,
We
maybe
do
a
run
little
into
bit.
people with a lack of confidence quite often.
And I've heard a lot of people say, oh, you can't podcast with them because it's just not done. And we podcast with everybody because we're not in competition with anybody, and neither are the people that we speak with. And it's just sharing information,
Exactly.
When you guys are actually searching for stuff, radios, recording equipment, or, whatever, do you just search the web and just find stuff and look on that A page?
Yep.
A lot of times it does work like that. And we've known each other for over 8 years, so there's really good chemistry between us. And, we can read each other's minds sometimes about what we're looking
that's
for.
scary.
And what we want to, it's very scary, tremendously scary. So, it works out really well in that one of us can find something and we'll go to the other and say, look at this page, see what you think of X. Do you think our people would like blah, blah, blah? And then we start looking at it, and maybe we'll look for something better, or maybe we'll look for something a little more advanced or less advanced. And we try stuff out. I can't tell you how many Bluetooth speakers we've ordered over the years. It would be a very frightening thing to even think about. It's the kind of things that we have to test before they go out to our people, and before we say, okay, this is something that large majority of our people would appreciate and enjoy. So we really, again, tag team that a great deal of the time. We do look online, or occasionally somebody will come to us and say, hey, have you thought about doing something on blah? And sometimes that works out great, and other times not really so much. But we've had some really fun opportunities come up just because somebody else recommended that we do something, or recommended to other organizations that we do something for them. So that's very fun. That's how our National Braille Press stuff started out as well. So it's just kind of funny the way things come together sometimes.
So you guys just do this now for
This is the regular job.
This is it. This is
Okay.
the regular job now.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I couldn't imagine working and doing what you guys do. I wouldn't have that many hours in the day.
There's not
It's
enough
less and
time.
less possible all the time to even consider. Even when we started, it was crazy, but now it's completely impossible to do anything else. I mean, sometimes we're doing 80-hour weeks doing this stuff. It gets insane sometimes.
What I usually do is just listen to a lot of podcasts and gather my information, and then pretend like I know something.
Yeah, we do that sometimes too.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Sometimes what we'll do with our tutorials, for example, something like Blind Shell or Braille Note Touch, is you get the product and you beat the crap out of it, quite frankly,
For weeks.
because you're doing things that even the developers aren't really doing, because you're looking at it as an end user. their perspective, and you're finding issues, and you're going back to the developers and you're saying, really you should do this and that and the other thing in order to make this work a little bit better for the customer, and that does help out too. But when you're in the midst of recording this tutorial, like for example, Braille Note Touch did not take a week or two to do. Braille Note Touch took 3 months to do.
3 months, yeah, from start to finish. And then one of the reasons was because I hadn't used a Braille Note in almost 20 years. So it was insane to get a new one and actually essentially start from scratch and be like, okay, what am I doing? Because it had been so long since I had used one. So we had to learn the device, this whole new device, this whole way of using Braille on the device. And it was just insane. But it was fun because it was learning a bunch of new stuff, and we really liked challenges. We enjoyed that aspect of the job, and it was just a very rewarding thing to take something that we're not even sure how we're going to begin it and come up with a finished product that we're really proud of and that people just send amazing comments on. So it's very rewarding.
So having said that, when you guys look at the podcasts that you have done, do you ever think, oh man, I did this and now tech has been, it just evolved so much. Who needs that anymore? And you just find yourself.
We do, but we laugh at them. We laugh at them. They're there for archival purposes, and I mean, we've got stuff. Chris did one when A-Lady first came out, the original A-Lady features, and it was hilarious. We listened to it back. Yeah, the second time that I revised the A-Lady tutorial, we listened back to that and just sat there and laughed for 45 minutes. It was hysterical.
It's like, I can only play tune in.
It can only play tune in.
It could let you shop for music and tell us the weather.
Exactly.
And it's like, and I think I remember at the time, I really wish this would do Audible.
All the stuff.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But having said that, what I wish it would do is Bard, actually. I think that'd be awesome, and I know they're working on it.
That'd be very cool.
Yeah.
That'd be cool.
But I don't know anything beyond that. And now we're going to get people going, oh really? Are they going to do Bard?
Yeah.
No, not yet, but they are working on it.
One thing I liked about, the whole Audible thing is the synchronization between your Echo device and your apps and all that. So you don't have to stop one book and then, I'm 4 or 5 hours into this book. Now I have to go to this device and do that. I recently was working with a client who wanted to read Audible on her stream, and she has a bunch of other devices, so she's got no excuse. And I said, personally, I don't read Audible books on my stream, and this is the reason why. And she goes, that makes perfect sense. You don't have to fight with it to get it on the device. It's just, I'm in my library, boom. Or I can talk to my Echo, and boom, you're done.
Yeah, and one of the things that I love about the Echo device is all podcasts. If an author of a podcast decides that they want to have their casts on the Echo, they have to do some work and getting it all done. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I think is really cool is to be on my exercise machine. And I know that sounds pretentious and pompous, but sometimes what I like to do is listen to myself on the Echo to find out, how my levels are and how they're coming across to people. And I like the sound of my own voice too, but But I really find that the Echo devices can give a listener some really good experience. Now, what I've got set up in my exercise room, I have a pair of Echo second generation devices. They're paired in stereo, and I've got a sub on the floor, so when I exercise I can have some really good tunes and listen to podcasts, and I find that really works well. Audible's on there, of course, and just so many things that the Echo can do. Now I can understand why you'd laugh at your first Echo cast.
Oh yeah.
Chris, I want to go back to the thing you mentioned about researching and testing new products. How have you guys found your relationship with the product developer when you ask for changes or recommend changes? Has that been a good experience for you most of the time?
Primarily.
Yes, it has.
You asked Chris that. But yeah, primarily it has been a very good experience. People are
they're amenable
really
to taking
receptive.
you seriously and working on the product?
Yep.
Yeah, especially once you sit down with them and have about a 30-minute conversation. I think once you've kind of done that bit of virtual face-to-face, if you can, it really makes a huge difference in how people approach you and how you approach them. And you get to realize that the developer really is a person too, and they're hanging out and they're, generally speaking, trying to make a product that a lot of people resonate with and utilize and enjoy. So, yeah, we usually, 9 times out of 10, find it to be a really, rewarding experience. It doesn't mean they always do all the stuff we say.
Of course
That would be
not.
nice.
No. We found that to be very, very true.
So I got to ask you one thing, Chris. Maybe you know the answer to this. Maybe Kim, you do too. But one of the things that I don't remember talking about on the manual of the blind shell phone, and I may have missed this because you might have, but I have a folder on my device. Well, not mine, but my demonstrator device, and the device that we'll be working with my friend, is a folder called Podcasts. So did you guys ever talk about that on your tutorial?
No, because it's Android. I think it's an Android folder that's sitting there.
Okay.
That it's going to be ignored. There are no podcast clients on.
You are right. Yeah, I thought maybe it was a folder that people would like put podcasts in there from their computer. But I thought, well, if they're going to be doing that, why would they? Why would they have a blind shell that they would do that? I kind of understand both scenarios, but I looked at it and I thought, nah, I just don't think that's the way it's going to go.
I think it's just one of those standard default folders that comes with Android.
Yeah, I'm glad you cleared that up because I think a lot of people that really delve into the system as I have, or as that we all have, would kind of want to know that. And I'm kind of glad that you didn't bring that up, but in one way I kind of wish that you would have just sort of mentioned that just a little bit so I wouldn't have to stay up nights.
That would be a 12-hour tutorial.
It would.
I know.
It would. But there are things that we would like to go back in and add, a couple little things.
But that's true with everything that everybody does.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could always pick at it. I'm a perfectionist. I could go on for weeks and weeks playing with it. It's like, let it go. Time to go do something else.
Yeah,
eventually you have to stop.
Yeah, well, Bill and I do the same sort of things. I know you were speaking of buying things, and we all sort of play off of that. Like Bill was the one that convinced me to buy the Amazon Smart Oven. And all the good stuff that he was cooking, and I was the one that talked him into getting a Navage nose.
Yes.
And Bill,
put something up my nose. I'm never thinking that.
and I jokingly was talking about I'll even do this for you. I'm going to put up something up my nose for you guys. Not everybody will do that. You guys sort of do the same thing. I noticed that one of you will get a radio, or one of you will get a vacuum cleaner of some sort, and you play with it, and that's kind of really neat to play off of each other like that, I think.
Yep.
We love that. I think that's our favorite part, is being able to play off each other. And we're both kind of snarky, so it's especially fun. That kind of shows sometimes in the podcast. So we really enjoy that aspect of it.
Well, I like a little snarkiness. Of course, I don't really believe in snarkiness or sarcasm, of course.
No, not at all.
No,
absolutely not. No. But it sure does make it easy to relieve stress, does it not?
It does.
Oh, most definitely.
Anything cool coming up that you can talk about that you're going to be working on, or anything that you're no?
Not that we can talk about.
Well, you can talk about
Cool, but we can't talk about it.
Cool, definitely cool. We cannot talk about it though.
you can talk about the class on the 26th.
We do. We have a class coming up on the 26th, and that is on the Lisi software.
Oh, sure. Everybody's really talking about that.
They are. I've heard much about that. Yes.
It's a tremendous little program. It really does offer a lot. We're really looking forward to delving into that, sharing a little more about it. We are also, while we are tooting our own horns and promoting things, on the 27th, which is the Friday directly after class, we're having an open house. So anybody can come hang out with us for free for 3
even
hours.
us? Oh, you're going to charge us?
Even
Yes.
y'all. Yeah, even y'all.
We'll charge you guys. There you go.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it'll be free until we get to the door.
Anything to make a buck.
Yeah, right. And we'll say, sorry, not happening. We just kind of wanted to give people a way to hang out and come together during a crazy, surreal period of time. And we like to have open houses every now and again. They're fun, and Lord knows what will happen during an open house. So it's kind of exciting. It will be fun. It'll be a lot of fun.
Okay, quickly, back to podcasting for just a minute. Chris, what kind of microphone are you using?
A Sennheiser headset.
Oh, listen to you. What about you, Kim?
Same thing. We have the exact same headset.
Wow. Yeah, great. Okay. Just wondered. Had to know.
Now, Bill,
That way we're not off mic if we turn our heads or what have you.
Yes.
It really
Yes.
does make a difference.
Yes, the
that never
cardboards
happens.
do limit the range, do they not?
Yep.
Absolutely.
that never happens. Come on, you guys.
No,
Yeah, right.
not from Randy's perspective.
And we use Zoom to record our our podcasts and a lot of our tutorials. So that really works out well.
Yes.
No, I've noticed so many differences between people, the way they use their software. As I was telling Chris, I record locally on my machine because for some reason I have better luck. Do you guys use any limiting equipment, or how do you? No, you just straight up do it and that's it.
Yep.
We straight up do it, and if we have to do anything in post, then we do it in post, but generally speaking, we just record it and go, and then whatever we clean up in post, we do. Sometimes we outsource that. We make somebody else do it. So.
I see. Oh, okay. All right. Yeah, we do our own stuff here. But I find that if I make a Zoom recording, it's just for me, for some reason, it just, the levels are low, and I just don't want to go through all that post-production, so I just record locally. But that's just the way I do it. Everybody has their different ways.
Exactly.
So, you guys, how about a little demonstration? Do you guys want to do a little blind shell action?
Totally. Yeah, we'll do some blind shell action. I've got my little blind shell, my little red blind shell in her little red case.
Now, are you... let's talk about the case a little bit. Can we do that?
Cool. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's talk about it. So, is the case originally for the device, or is it an outsourced case?
The case is originally for the device.
Oh, exciting.
It is. It's got a little magnetic closure up at the top. So it's up near the earpiece of the phone is where it'll close. And it's got a little magnetic closure. And it's pebble leather on the outside. So it's real nice. And it's kind of a soft, pleathery or leathery finish.
Hold the star key to unlock your phone.
Oh, hello.
Oh, I like to talk about leather.
Yeah.
And I've got one on the way. I've got some leather on the way, don't I, Chris?
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
Yep, it'll be picked up in an hour.
Great. Yay.
Cool.
Very nice. But yeah, it is a nice little case. And it serves the purpose very well of protecting the phone. It's actually kind of two pieces. There's the leather outside, and then there's an actual fitted silicone-ish thing that you actually stick the phone in on the inside. So it's real nice.
Now, are they an executive products case, or are they outsourced from some
They're
other-
not. They come
okay.
directly from the company.
Okay. All right. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they're nice. They don't have any little fancy schmancy compartments or anything like that, but they are real nice.
Cool. Is there anything particularly cool that both of you guys like really well about the phone?
There's one thing that a lot of people don't know, but the phone itself comes with tags. They're little stickers. And you can actually use those tags to label things. So if you have a thumb drive, for example, or if you have a carton where you put specific things, you might want to put these little stickers on, the product, and then you can label them. They're not barcodes. So you're not using a barcode reader. It's using the camera, and somehow the camera will actually read those little tags, and then you can add either a voice tag or a text tag if you don't want to hear yourself talk.
Oh, it's camera and not NFC.
Yeah. It's a camera, yep.
Interesting, okay.
You kind of use it like if you've ever used the older KNFB reader. What I've been suggesting is to take the camera and lay it on the tag itself, if you can, depending on where your tag is, and then lift the phone up, and it will eventually be in the view, and then it will tell you what it is, or if it's not there, it'll prompt you to record the tag.
I think that is so well thought out. It's just great.
The only thing I can show for that's the menu. I can't actually show it because I don't have any tags out. My tags are all still sitting in their box. I did that part for the tutorial, but I'll show whatever y'all want.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, do us some menus, Kim.
Okay, I'll show y'all some menus. So I'm going to unlock my phone.
Call 1 of 9.
So here we are. We're in the main portion of the phone. And the real nice thing is once you learn where these things are on your phone, you can use numbers to get to them quickly. So if I wanted to go to settings,
5 of 9.
I can just press the number 5 and it takes me straight down to settings. So there are lots of things that I can do, check out. So I've got phone, messaging, contacts, more applications, settings.
Status information 6 of 9.
There's your battery, Wi-Fi status, network status.
Manual 7 of 9.
There is the built-in manual for the phone, so you can actually read about things directly on the phone.
No notifications 8 of 9.
I currently have no notifications, but if you had missed a call or something, or a text, you could check that out. Or if there was an update, that type of information would be found in those notifications.
Turn off the phone 9 of 9.
And there's how you power off.
You just reached to the end of the menu structure. That little beep sound. That's what I like
That little
about it
beep
too.
sound. But if I keep going to the right,
Call 1 of 9.
I'm back to call.
Yep.
Yep, I've wrapped around, which is really nice as well. Let's go into more applications.
Yeah, let's do
really
that.
quick.
Yeah.
More applications 4 of 9.
There's cool stuff in here.
Tools 1 of 5.
So we have tools, and inside tools,
Alarm 1 of 9.
and this is very easy. All I'm doing is using a cursor cross. So there's essentially a little 5-position cursor cross. It's a little square within a square, or kind of a rectangle with a square in the middle. And you can move that up, down, left, right, and center. And select is the center one, and move through all these things. Generally, I'm just moving left, right, and pressing the center. So it's very easy to navigate.
Minute timer 2 of 9.
So we have an alarm, we have a minute timer,
Stopwatch 3 of 9.
a stopwatch.
Calendar 4 of 9.
There's the calendar.
Notes 5 of 9.
Let's go into notes really quick.
Add note 1 of 2. Text.
So in here, you have some options. You could either type your text using T9 typing, or if you press and hold one of your volume buttons, you could say, tell George to remember to pick up chocolate chip ice cream at the store. So then,
Tell George to remember to pick up chocolate chip ice cream at the store.
and it did a perfect dictation of what I said.
Now, the reason I like the dictation so much is it is Android-based phone, and dictation is just wonderful on these devices, I think.
Yes, yes, it is fantastic. It's
A lot
really,
better
really
than
good.
that other device.
The fruity device?
Yes. My girlfriend likes a lot is the very good response of the color identifier that normally one would pay like $80, $90 and upwards into hundreds of dollars. Now, it doesn't cover every nuance of color, of course, but it sure does get you into the ballpark on what you're
It does.
accessorizing with.
It absolutely
Do
does.
you like the
And
color ID, Kim?
I do. I do. I
Yeah.
like it. I do like
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
Yeah.
See, I told you she could see. Yeah, I find that really good. And the thing that I think is just amazing is the internet radio. God, that's just a cool
It's
service.
awesome.
Yeah.
I'll show that real quick. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's
do that.
a
Would you?
Deleted.
really neat thing.
Gotta
So-
be careful here.
Deleted.
Exactly.
Notes
Okay.
5 of 9.
So I'm going to go back out of here. So here we are at media,
Music player 1 of 6.
and we've got lots of options here.
Internet radio 2 of 6.
Here is the internet radio, but there's YouTube in here, which I just think is hysterically awesome.
Oh, yeah.
There is the FM radio. There's all kinds of good in here.
Resume playback 1 of 6.
So we got lots of options. We'll go.
Popular stations categories 3 of 6. Country 4 of 6.
I'm just showing options.
Favorites 5 of 6.
There's favorites.
Search 6 of 6.
We can go to
Popular stations 2 of 6. Loading. 0.977 50s 60s hits. 1 of 100.
We'll try this one.
Playing. 0.977 50s 60s hits. 1 of 100. Save to favorites 1 of 1.
Man, I'm wearing headphones and I can hear the bass coming through that thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. And then I just press select on it. So if I wanted to save this to my favorites, I could do so. Or I could back out of it and do other things. So there's lots of options in here that you can kind of play with, and it's very fun.
So where do
It's
these
really
stations,
nice.
where are they sourced from? Anybody know?
I don't know. I want to say iHeart, but I'm not 100% sure.
Okay.
Not real sure about that. Yeah, I don't know for
It'd
sure.
be kind of cool to know. And I've noticed recently they've come up with a bug fix for YouTube, which is really cool too.
Yeah, YouTube is awesome. It's really very well put together, very well thought out. That's probably one of our favorite things about the phone. One reason we decided we wanted to go ahead and distribute it was because it's just really well thought out. It's pretty intuitive to use.
Now, the first time that I used YouTube, I was with a client, and I thought, I wonder what I can search for because I've used it several times at home, but I just wanted to know it. She says, I love birds. So I said, okay. So I entered I dictated the text, crazy parrots. Not parents, but parrots. And I brought it up, and there was just all kinds of, parrot stuff. And I just clicked on them, and they played. And I want that phone. I want it. I want that phone. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think that the video comes along with it.
It does, and you can turn it off if you want to.
Yeah, you can turn it off if you want to, which is great.
Didn't know that?
Yep.
How does one go and shut off the video?
Let's see. It's in somewhere in YouTube settings.
It's in YouTube settings,
Playing.
I believe.
0.977 50s, 60s hits. 1 of 100.
So there's my station that it tells me was playing.
0.977 popular stations. 2 of internet radio. 2 of 6.
And I'm just backing out a bit so I can get to YouTube more easily.
Yeah, I was going to say if you could show us
FM
YouTube,
radio,
that would be cool
4 of
because
6.
I love YouTube.
Yeah,
YouTube.
it's
3 of 6.
one of my favorite things.
Search 1 of 5.
here. So
Settings. 5 of 5.
I just moved to the left, and we're at settings.
Video mode. 1 of 1.
And all we have here is video mode. So if we go in here,
Portrait image selected. 1 of 3. Landscape image not selected. 2 of 3. Only sound saves
There
data.
it
Not
is.
selected. 3 of
Okay.
3.
here it is.
Yeah.
So you can just select this.
Only
puppy,
sound saves data. Selected.
and you're done.
Video mode. 1 of 1. Settings. 5 of 5.
Easy peasy.
And if you're one that wants to hear a demonstration of YouTube, you must buy the phone from Chris
You
and Kim.
must buy the phone from us, and you'll get a tutorial.
Yeah, cool stuff. So is that one of your favorite things, Chris, is the
Yep.
YouTube
Yeah,
and the
I love
radio
how
stuff?
easy
Yeah.
the phone itself. Once you learn how to navigate one thing, you can pretty much navigate the rest of the phone. And one other cool thing that Kim can show us really quickly is, let's say that there's too many options in the phone. You can actually turn a lot of these options off. So
Sure can.
if you only want it for calls and messages and contacts, you can get rid of the rest of the stuff.
You can. It is a very cool thing. And
Call. 1 of 9.
to do it, we will go into settings.
More applications. 4 of 9. Settings. 5 of 9. Sounds. 1 of 9.
And
Date, time, and time zone. 8 of 9. Blind shell update. 7 of 9. Phone menu mode. 5 of
here we
9.
go. Phone menu mode. That's the magic thing. So we go into phone menu mode.
Full mode selected. 1 of 2.
Now currently full mode is selected, but if we move either left or right,
Simplified mode not selected. 2 of 2.
we'll get to simplified mode.
Settings menu is hidden in the simplified mode. You can access settings from simplified mode by dialing ### as a phone number. Simplified
And now-
mode selected. 2 of 2.
It says simplified mode selected. I can press and hold the back button to get me back to the main menu.
Call. 1 of 5.
And voila, our main menu has shrunk
Quite a bit.
shrinked.
Yeah.
Yes, it has.
Yes, it has.
I've had the phone, when I first got it in my hand, I demonstrated to a client about an hour afterwards, and that's how long it took me I didn't know every aspect of the phone, but I was demonstrating it with an hour after I got it. Now I think that's pretty cool.
It is. It is. It is really neat. And if somebody wanted to start here and then upgrade to learn about more features, they absolutely could. So they could start it in this mode if they wanted to, and you have to set it up, obviously.
Yep.
But the other really nice thing about this particular mode is if you wanted to call 322-7676 or whatever number you want to call, you can just start dialing.
Number 3 2 2.
And then if I continue to dial this, I could go ahead and make this phone call from anywhere on the main
You just
menu.
hit the center button and it would call, right?
Yep.
Exactly.
That's just
yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
But in that case, there was no menu to go into. You do lose some features. For example, you can't do dictation because it's a simplified phone. So they are under the assumption that you don't want to dictate. But if you want to pick up your phone and dial it, and you don't care about all these other features, you can turn them off. The other feature that we didn't really talk about is the SOS button. So on the back, if you're holding the phone like you hold it in your either hand to dial, there's an SOS button, and you can assign a contact, a number, anything to that button, and then you press and hold it for 3 seconds. It'll say, do you want to call this emergency contact? And you confirm it, and it's calling that emergency contact. There's no fumbling around either. And that works in both the simplified mode and the full mode.
Now it's just one contact per device, right? Yeah.
Yes.
Per
Yep.
button. Yeah, per emergency button. Yep.
But you can have multiple quick dials. So if you want to put someone on one, you can do that. You can have up to, including the SOS button, you can have 11 frequently used numbers or people that you can call. So it's 1 through 0, and then it's the SOS button.
Oh, that's really good. Because in my case, what I would do is if I would assign it to a relative, they'd go, nah, just let him go. He's faking.
I understand that the phone is available on 2 service provider platforms right now. Is that correct?
Yes, any phone or MVNO that uses the AT&T or T-Mobile towers,
Okay.
you can use it on.
Do you know if that's going to be expanded at some time, or has that been mentioned?
We don't know.
We don't know. We hope
It's
so.
a GSM phone,
Sure.
so it's just kind of
It
catch
is.
as catch can.
Yeah,
you know.
right.
Yep.
Personally, I like T-Mobile. Now I'm not an advocate for them, and I don't work for them, but I like the service because I'm in a really good plan. I'm on the senior plan, and so what that means is that
How appropriate.
for a certain amount, I can stream everything, and I can be on the phone 24/7, and it's just I get everything.
Nice.
And I have a funny story here. When I was contacting the representative, they go, "Well, I'm sorry, but I can't sell you that plan." And I go, "Well, why not?" And they go, "Well, you can't be over 55." And I go, "Well, what are you talking about?" And not that I want to, cast any aspersions or anything, but it was an Indian gentleman, and he goes, "Well, I just don't believe it. Because how will I know that you're over 55?" And I thought he was joking with me, and I go, "Well, how do you want me to talk, Sonny? Do you want me to talk like?" And he goes, "Okay, you got the plan." I think he was kind of kidding with me a little bit, but I just said, look up my records, and they did, and I really like being on that plan because you can just do everything with it. And so one of the phones that I'm going to be putting on the T-Mobile plan is the blind shell phone, so it's going to work out great.
Awesome.
As if I can get a hold of an adapter.
Oh, well, that might be something.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh boy, that's funny stuff. So, Bill, you got anything else for these guys?
No, but just my extreme thanks to both you, Kim and Chris, for coming in and spending your time with us today. Learned a lot.
Yeah.
Thank
We've
you.
had a blast.
And you guys, you do so many things, and I appreciate taking the time to babble with us a little bit and talk about your
Yes.
company and all the things that you do, and it's just been tremendous amount of fun.
Our pleasure.
Our pleasure. Thank you very much.
By the way, that's
Thanks for having
$10 for being with us. Just thought I'd,
Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. The thing hasn't gone out yet. I think I'll pull the adapter.
Goodbye, everybody.
Not only did that, the gate at the open door just went up. Thanks, Randy.
You're welcome. Thanks a lot.
What was
you
that, about
guys.
25 for admission?
Have a great day,
Bye,
guys.
guys.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thank y'all.
Bye.
All right, take
Bye,
care.
Chris. Bye, Kim.
Bye now.
Bye.
On behalf of Randy Rustic and myself, this is Bill Tillery saying thank you again so much for joining us on this episode of Accessibility Moving Forward. We are always pleased when you send us your suggestions and comments reaching amf@gmail.com. That's reachingAMF@gmail.com. You also may contact us via Twitter. Our handle there is @A11YAMF. That's @A11YAMF. Or you may leave us a voicemail at 218-209-2133. That's 218-209-2133. As always, you, our listeners, are the most important part of this cast. It would be worthless to do it without you. Thanks, and be with us next time for our next episode of Accessibility Moving Forward.
The preceding podcast is a presentation of Mystic Access, where the magic is in learning. If you are blind or visually impaired and desire to discover how our comprehensive products and services may support and empower your assistive technology journey, we welcome your visit at www.mysticaccess.com. Have a question or wish to place an order via phone? Call us at 716-543-3323. If you have something to share about this podcast episode, press 4 to reach our Mystic Access podcast comment line. Email us at info@mysticaccess.com. Connect with us on Twitter at twitter.com/mysticaccess and like us on Facebook at facebook.com/mysticaccessempower. Would you like to spread the word about our podcasts? Your friends and colleagues may listen and subscribe at www.mysticaccesspodcast.com. If you enjoy our episodes, consider leaving us an iTunes rating and review. Your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks for spreading the word, and thanks for being a listener. We hope you enjoyed this episode.